Hello, hello, good afternoon, good afternoon. Come and take your seats, please. Lovely, thank you very much. I'm just going to give everyone a moment to come back into the room. If you are joining us online, welcome back. This session is going to be very much interactive, so I will give you lots of space to ask questions if you are watching us online. So please use the Q&A function in Swapcard, and we have someone being the voice of the audience in the room so we can ask all of your questions. So if you're with us online, thank you. This is the place for your questions. And delegates in the room, lovely to see you back. I hope you've had some chance to look around all the projects in the exhibition area. Some really, really interesting ones. Right, okay, let us get going. So this session this afternoon is very much an informative, practical session. This is where we talk about what is available, what help is available for different projects. We've put this session together because you have asked for it. Either yourselves in the room or previous delegates at one of the conferences have asked for this session. So it will have a lot of information in it. I suggest you have a pen and paper ready, and I will make sure there are lots of time for questions at the end as well. You will find out what's available, if the help is appropriate to you, how it could help you, and how to take advantage of that help. So we will really take you through everything. Now we're going to do this with the use of examples, so you can hear from the different help mechanisms and also the beneficiaries that have benefited from that help as well. So I have a lot of people, as you can see, to come on stage. So if I could just ask everyone who's involved in this session to come on stage at once, and I will introduce you all afterwards. So come up and take a seat, because if I gave everyone's name now, we'd be here for a while. So come and take a seat. Fabulous. This is where there is a lot of consternation about who sits where. Great, lovely stuff. Thank you very much. So we have here, if you wouldn't mind raising your hands when I introduce you, but we have representatives from JTP Groundwork and JTP Peers. There we go. We have from START, C4T, fabulous, Jaspers and Target, great, and TSI as well. What we also have are beneficiaries from all those different mechanisms. And again, if you are watching us online, remember to put your questions into the Q&A function on Swapcard, and we'll try and come to as many as possible. So what we've asked all our different areas to do is give a brief overview of what they do, what help is available, particularly looking to the future, so what is coming up down the line, and then also to hear from the beneficiaries as well. So if I may, let me start with JTP Groundwork. So we have, and if you wouldn't mind going to the lectern for me, we have Balbina Gluza-Chietska, GPT Secretariat, who's smiling at me. I've been practicing your name, and I have a feeling I didn't get that quite right. Yeah.
Thank you, Sasha. You did it very well. My name is Balbina Gluza-Chietska, and I have been coordinator of Just Transition Platform for the past 4 years. I must say I'm a big fan of the platform, and it has been a great pleasure to coordinate all activities of this tool. It is a very unique tool. It's the only tool, only technical assistance that is really focused on the regions covered by Just Transition Fund. And it's very much targeted, and it's also very powerful. And the difference is you, because you build the community around Just Transition Platform. Before I go into the news on the platform, what we will offer for you in the next year, I will maybe show some basic facts. We can start with the first slide.
We have got the slides, Bobby, and if we could see them on the monitor on stage as well.
It's
that'd
the
be
one
lovely.
before.
Thank you.
Slide before, please. Exactly, thank you. So we created the platform in 2020, and it was linked to the establishment of the European Green Deal. The platform is led by DG Regio, and the technical assistance on the ground called JTP Grant Work is led by DG Regio for all regions that are covered by Just Transition Fund. So this is basically the tool that supports you in implementing the Territorial Just Transition Plans and making accessible the financing related to Just Transition Fund. It is focused on the implementation of Territorial Just Transition Plans, and we have also expanded this platform in 2023 to offer you hands-on capacity building and new streams of technical assistance. Please, next slide. Here you can see an overview of our strengths of support. Many of you know this very well because we have also presented the platform in the past. Just to summarize, that we have technical assistance called JTP Grant Work that is about capacity building and expertise that we provide through the JTP Secretariat to the regions in transition. And so far, we covered 19 territories with this assistance. I will speak about this in next minutes a bit more. Then we have JTPs. These are shorter exchanges between regions and experts in regions, and also a big database of Just Transition experts. And this database is publicly accessible, so any region that needs support in Just Transition issues can get through this database some knowledge and some advice. We have also Knowledge Hub with case studies and with catalogs on different Just Transition topics. Everything is available through our website. And we publish more and more knowledge products on that. If you feel that there is some expertise that is needed in the form of the knowledge product, you can also contact us and suggest some topics. Then we have also working groups. And these working groups, they meet usually after the conferences to discuss some strategic issues related to the sectors in transition and also the regions. And currently we have 2 working groups that are operational. And now what is coming? Because this is our work, our regular work, but on the next slide, please, we give you the codes that you can access to the current calls for application that we have published just recently, yesterday. So one call for application is related to these region-to-region exchanges that I mentioned before. So it's about the JTPs. And here we have now call open for regions that can apply and have exchange with another region or with an expert on the topic that they seek advice related to Just Transition. We have also a call open for Just Transition expert. So if you feel like an expert and you are not in this database, please apply, don't be shy, and we'll use the barcode that is provided on the slide. And then in the coming months, we will also open the call for JTP Grant Work. So this is the biggest technical assistance stream that we provide under platform. It will be for, there will be many places for many regions. The call is not yet open, but we will do it soon, and you should just follow our JTP newsletter for some news or just our website. We expect the call to be published in the first weeks of the 2025. Thank you for this slide. And on the next slide, just also some promotion of the work that we do. We have transformed our library. And now we have a new e-library on Just Transition platform webpage that is more user-friendly and accessible for everyone. And in this library, you can search for the topics that interest you via the keyword or also member state. And recently we published 2 new products, knowledge products, one on business incubators in Just Transition regions and another is on female entrepreneurship in context of Just Transition. And also session related to women in Just Transition process and their entrepreneurship will be presented tomorrow at the conference for you. This is it as regards the news from the Just Transition platform. You can contact us via our website, via Just Transition Platform Secretariat, and also via DG Regio, because for the platform, this is a team success. There are many people working on it in DG Regio unit Sustainable and Smart Growth, but also in the geographical units that support us and the work of the platform. We are there for you to support you in this difficult but also meaningful journey. Thank you.
Albina, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. What I'd like to do now is actually hear from a beneficiary of yourselves from the JTP and actually hear how they sort of, what help they were after and what help they got. So this is Eleanor Anderson. Eleanor, nod if you can hear us or give me a smile. Fabulous, yes, jolly good. Eco-strategist, Regional Development Department in Gotland in Sweden. So Eleanor, over to you. Tell us your beneficiary story.
Thank you. Nice to be with you if it's only on the screen. As I can't be with you, I'd like you to show the video from Gotland so I can invite you to Gotland. But as beneficiary for the JTP groundwork, we're very happy. It was easy to apply for, we got it fast, and we are very delighted for the support that we get for us as a public body to support the transition needed, and especially the transition for the company who are eligible for the JTF support, the investment support. But please let us show the video and then you might ask some questions.
Welcome to Gotland, Sweden's largest island, located in the middle of the Baltic Sea, with a 3-hour ferry crossing south from Stockholm's archipelago or east from the Swedish mainland. Gotland is known as a tourist resort with rich and beautiful nature, a mild climate, sandy beaches, and a rich cultural life and history. However, Gotland is more than leisure, nature, local food and culture. It's also home to the mining of the island's bedrock, limestone, which is valuable for various industrial processes and is raw material for cement. 75% of Sweden's cement consumption originates from Gotland. The cement plant also generates severe industrial emissions of fossil carbon. They are included in the ETS and shall be reduced to close to zero by 2040 in an EU joint reduction path. But that will need new technology and much more electricity. By 2030, power consumption on Gotland expects to have at least tripled, primarily by means of the planned industrial transition. That includes removal of this chimney pot and instead leading the factory's emissions through a new process. That is why Gotland is one of Sweden's 3 JTF regions, eligible for JTF investment support. The industrial transition and need for increased power supply comes with challenges, not only for the companies concerned, but also for the surrounding society. The application for JTF groundwork support was fast and easy, supported from a national level. The results will be useful as a base for Region Gotland's own planning processes. An analysis of how the industrial transition will change the community is underway, commissioned by the Regional Board. It will enable us to brand Gotland's transition and to plan what educational initiatives we need within the different parts of the education system. It will also support the progress of other energy projects. Gotland needs to become a new energy hotspot to attract the competence needed. Several hundred jobs during the transition that may later lead to quite new permanent jobs in new energy-related sectors. New power grid and new power production, nearby on land and at sea, will be keys as production of energy carriers. At the same time, Gotland's uniqueness and values are to be unspoiled for the sustainability of the future.
Eleanor, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just very, very briefly, because there are a lot of people, I assume you can see all the people on the stage ready to talk, but just very briefly, a little bit of advice for anyone deciding to go down this route when it comes to looking for help from JTP groundwork, wasn't it? What do you suggest going forward? Your project looks fabulous, but what's your advice going forward for anyone in the audience?
Go for it and ask for help, because if you have an idea where you need consultancy help, go for it. And we got very good help from the national level. I hope that kind of help is available for everyone. And then apply. It was easy.
It was easy, oh, she says. All right, Eleanor, thank you very much. That's a very ringing endorsement for you, Balbina, and your team. Great, thank you so much, Eleanor, thank you. So that's our start today, JTP with the groundwork and everything there. Stay with us, Eleanor, if you wouldn't mind. We're now in the room here going to move on to start. So we have Veronique and Bremislav. Would you like to take to the lectern for us? Thank you very much. Wonderful. And what we'll do is we'll have an overview of the help that START can give, and then we will hear from the beneficiary as well. Could we change the slide on the stage, please, so we can see? Lovely, thank you.
Thank you very much, Sasha. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's always a great opportunity to be here with you every half a year. I will introduce first, before speaking, maybe the first slide could be presented, the Co-Regions in Transition Initiative, because it's an initiative run by DG NR, initiative which actually started a little bit before the Just Transition Fund was introduced. And it was actually based on what we could see also in the video, on the fact that regions that have to phase out of fossil fuels have to go through heavy energy transition. The Co-Regions in Transition Initiative is, as I said, run by DG NR. It is run also by the Secretariat, without whom we wouldn't be even able to run this project, because this is quite an extensive amount of work which we do regularly with our stakeholders, regions, and public authorities. It covers fewer regions than the Just Transition Fund, because we are more focused on energy transition and decarbonization and energy efficiency. We have 31 co-regions from 11 countries, and we also have 8 regions from other 4 countries which are dependent or were dependent on peat or oil shale. So the focus of the initiative is to diversify the economies also from the perspective of energy, to transition as regards the skills, and to help the regions keep their young people and people in the region, which is also very important, and we have already heard about it from Commissioner Ferreira. We concentrate also on investments and competitiveness of those regions. There is a range of activities, you can see it on the PowerPoint presentation, which Co-Regions in Transition Initiative focuses on. We do a lot of knowledge products, toolkits, etc. So I would invite you to have a look on our website of DGNR and scroll through the products which we have there, because they are certainly worth reading. There is a lot of concrete information from various regions. We have done a lot of exchanges. For this, we use also some platforms. We have the annual political dialogue. This year it was in Wallonia in July, very successful event. And I'm also glad that many of those who were in Wallonia are here today as well. So we see how important both the Just Transition platform and the APD, the annual political dialogue, are. And some more exchanges are done were done during the Exchange EU program, which we ran between the years 2021 and 2022. And some more will be run during the implementation of the START, which Sasha already mentioned we will focus on, and for which I also have Przemysław here, because he will introduce one of that experience with START. Co-Regions in Transition Initiative focuses also on the global perspective of phasing out of coal. There are exchanges also outside of the EU borders. And one part is also a target, which in the end will be presented by Sarunas. Maybe to say a few words about the working group, which we held for 2 years, focusing on district heating. There is a very nice publication which was issued from that work. There were around 20 people gathering to collect knowledge how to decarbonize district heating, and out of that a nice publication was drafted, which is also on our website, and there are other toolkits which are coming. One of them will be presented also tomorrow. It is a toolkit focusing on repurposing of coal phase-out territories and sites after coal is not the main economic activity there anymore. Next slide, please. So to give a few words about START, it's similar to JTP groundwork, technical assistance, which is helping the regions with tailor-made support. It's short-term support between 6 and 12 months, active since 2019, and focusing on decarbonizing of energy production, on diversifying economic activities, and on social development related to the change of economy, and more or less focusing on developing knowledge capacities. Next slide. There has been already 14 assignments done. You can see it on the map which regions have been targeted. To give you, I don't want to go into many detail, but to give you an example, we heard about Midlands in the morning. Midlands is also one of the recipients of START. We were helping also Offaly County Council there, because there were 2 assignments done. Another quite an interesting example is Stara Zagora in Bulgaria, where we supported Regional Economic Development Agency, and we focused on clean hydrogen, mechatronics, and agriculture. There are 4 upcoming assignments in Lower Silesia, Asturias, Zasavie, and Gorje in Slovenia, and altogether we will work with them until next year. So I'll pass the floor now to Przemysław. He's one of our recipients of START, so I'll give him the floor to introduce to you the project which was implemented there. Przemysław represents a non-governmental organization supporting social entrepreneurship.
Okay. Thank you very much for this introduction. My name is Przemysław Piechocki. I represent Association for Social Cooperative. This is the Social Economic Support Center for Eastern Wielkopolska. You know Eastern Wielkopolska very well by strong leadership of trade unions. You know Eastern Wielkopolska by strong coal companies who are going green. You know Eastern Wielkopolska by the clear strategy to net zero emission led by Maciej Sytek. But there is also one thing what Eastern Wielkopolska have. They have also a social economic entities which working deeply rooted in the local communities. And the miners knows those social enterprises by many things. For example, for the favorite restaurants just around the corner, which are working in circular economy, which are buying products from the local farmers. The miners know the social economy entities by providing the social services. They know social enterprises by providing the communal services, the lob constructions, the road construction services. They know that the social economy entities works in the local communities, and we wanted, by support of START, to seize this opportunity to give the former miners not only the outplacement for another company, to create individual company, but also to create a social enterprise company, which gives them possibility to establish the collective enterprise who works on the local level. We've got from start the huge support from. We made the huge workshop with all stakeholders. We get there the community well-building father who give us the possibility to work more close into the rooted economy, which works for everyone. And at this moment, it grows because we work in every community. And at this moment, we've got almost 40 initiatives, the collective initiative, which we think will be established in this year for miners who are quitting carbon-intensive industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Come and take a seat. Thank
you, Sasha. Just if I may draw the attention to the
Brilliant.
Communication, which actually gives you access to all those toolkits, information materials, and also to our Twitter account.
Fabulous. Okay, thank you. Don't worry, we'll have lots of opportunity for that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, great. Let's move on now to Miriam, C4T. So we have Miriam and Milenko. Would you like to go to the lectern for us? Thank you very much. Thank you, Miriam.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Miriam Movida. I'm team leader for sustainable growth, and we are working on investments related to climate, energy, and just transition in the team. Just to give you the context on why we created the Cohesion for Transitions community of practice, this is very much based on the Just Transition platform model. Our starting point is that we have more than 90 billion euros invested in policy objective 2, in cohesion policy, to implement the European Green Deal objectives. And in order to make this investment really transformational, we wanted to give the different stakeholders who are implementing cohesion policy the necessary tools. And this is why we launched 1 year ago the Cohesion for Transitions platform. And I will present to you the different elements of this platform. So we have under the C4T community of practice 3 strands of work. The first one is gathering working groups working on energy, environment, and climate. And there we have mainly managing authorities, but also all the types of stakeholders who are part of the monitoring committees in charge of programming. And they are gathering twice a year. Actually, beginning of November, we will have a meeting of these working groups taking place in Brussels. The second strand of support is the academic sounding board. And there, this academic sounding board is gathering 11 academic academia specialized in the different areas that we are supporting. And they are drafting knowledge pieces. They are trying to provide solutions to specific challenges that are put forward by the members of the working groups, at the forum we are organizing our conferences. And they cover also the Just Transition Fund issues. So they are not only covering Policy Objective 2 issues, but also GTF issues, and they are providing knowledge in the form of knowledge pieces, which are publicly available on the website. And then very much based on the model of the Just Transition platform groundwork support, we have Cohesion for Transitions groundwork, which are specific support strands to solve specific challenges that our members or members of the C4T community are having. So in terms of C4T groundwork, we are bringing support to have effective expenditure on the Policy Objective 2. We are providing tailor-made technical assistance based on locally grounded needs and which is focused also on place-based solutions. The thematic areas which are supported are the areas which are part of Policy Objective 2, except of specific Objective 2.8, which is related to sustainable urban mobility. And our target group for support is the managing authorities community and authorities who are implementing EU funds. Our C4T groundwork is for the whole programming period, and we are intending to support the implementation of PO2, of course, for the whole programming period. And our next call for groundwork, so we are basing ourselves on regular launches of calls for support. And we plan to have a next call in the first quarter of 2025. So to give you examples of groundwork selected applications, so these are projects which we have supported. And you have this map gives you the diversity of areas we are supporting. We have several projects which are related to regional energy agencies, and in particular that commitment to support single entry points under cohesion policy in order to support the implementation of REPowerEU. Then there is a specific strand of support related to climate change adaptation, but also to circular economy and to sustainable water management. We had in the beginning some calls which were specifically directed at certain areas, such as support to single entry points and energy agencies, and actually this is the example that we will now listen, where we provided support to the city of Zagreb. But we also are open to new ideas, and we are very much needs-based, so please also tell us what your needs are, and we are happy to listen also to you. Thanks a lot. Now I will give the floor to our...
Thank you. So I should change, there's one more. So I come from the Regional Energy and Climate Agency, which is important, the climate part, because we have restructured 2 years ago, because the needs when it comes to climate, and climate here is the adaptation, are very strong on the local and regional level. And there is another piece of information that is crucial for this presentation is, maybe some of you know, some of you don't, the climate proofing. This is actually the process that should ensure that your investments, when it comes to infrastructures, will lead your infrastructure to be climate resilient. This is very important for the continuation of the presentation. So Why did we even apply for the support, and what we basically, why we needed to apply is that, you know, we are witnessing it on a daily basis, the influence of climate change and what pressures does it do to the infrastructure. But also, when we started to work on this process, we have felt that basically there is a lack of institutional and governmental knowledge, but also demands to perform climate proofing were high. So what was basically our kind of initial system response in the countries was that there was a lot of institutional and inadequate understanding of what the process is. There was no available consultants in the market for the process. And basically, there was a significant resistance from technical staff and developers why to even perform that. So what we basically wanted to do is to kind of ensure that climate proofing as an exercise, I would say, is mainstreamed into the project development process. And that is crucial, that is mainstreamed, so it is in each part of the project development and it's not looked separately. That's why we are here and that's why we work, actually, is to help cities and developers to address that issue. And our personal need was actually to raise our capacities to perform the task, which was not that easy because there was nobody to teach us, because we were developing the methodology during the service we have provided to cities and regions. So what actually happened is that we had two initial tasks. One of them I already mentioned, that was we needed to upgrade our capacity to be able to provide the service locally to the cities and regions, but later on we are providing it also to the companies now and other beneficiaries as well. And also we had one practical case of one big historic building that was undertaking basically the financing from the European Investment Bank, and they were demanding to have climate proofing for that building. So, and there was nobody able to do that. Bit by bit, you know, applying for the technical assistance, and you can see in the middle now, we did cooperate with, I would say, all the important stakeholders for that, for all the efforts, for the mainstreaming, but also for the technical part. So with the competent ministries in Croatia, also the agencies, also the local providers of the service company Ecoris, also with the DG Regio, and very important with the Jaspers, because they do have know on that, and they really did a lot of help for us, especially in the technical part, and also with the cities and regions. And I would say, you know, because I have to be brief, it actually did lead to a lot of good things. First of all, it led to better understanding on all level of governance why it should be done and what it exactly is. It led to increased technical capacities, ours, but also on the side of the understanding of the cities and regions, but also the project developers, and better awareness within the developers community in general. And we were, you know, receiving less questions on that. And why? Where are we now? So we are in the place to go when it comes to climate proofing in Croatia. And we do that now for all the projects, regardless from where they are financed now. So that's it.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you. Really interesting to hear your example, but also from you, Miriam, as well, actually, you know, what you can do and what you can offer. Thank you. Remember, we've got time for questions at the end. Let's move on now to Jaspers and Target. A round of applause, why not? Lovely. So we have Sranos. Yeah, okay, lovely, thank you. And Carla as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Sasha. Hello, everybody. My name is Šarūnas Brūzgė. I'm an economist in the European Investment Bank. I have quite a challenge today because I have like 6-7 minutes. I need to present you all the EIB support for just transition. Well, I'll try to do that nevertheless. My main focus would be on two initiatives, Jaspers and Target. And next slide, please. Yeah, so as a climate bank, of course, the support provided to the just transition is very wide, and it's just too short of a time frame to present all of it. A brief summary, of course, we work with all three pillars of the just transition mechanism, and as a bank, of course, we can provide financing, and we do provide co-financing, potential co-financing for example, JTF funding. We are as well implementing partner for the Pillar 2, so the guarantees, and the Just Transition public sector loan facility, which will actually be a separate session about tomorrow, so I encourage you also to participate, and my colleagues will present it there. in more detail. On the advisory side, on the technical side, we have a number of technical assistant instruments, besides, of course, JASPERS and Target, that can support project preparation under Just Transition Fund. So you see on the list, okay, as well PASA, there is also ELENA technical assistance. We cooperate also with the other technical assistant instruments inside and outside the bank. For the Pillar 2 and Pillar 3, we have InvestEU Advisory Hub that can also provide technical support for project identification and preparation. Next slide, please. So moving on and focusing a bit on the JASPERS and Target, I mean, how can we describe what it is, what type of the support this is? And I think one of the best ways to describe that, it's the EIB technical expertise of project preparation available for you, for your projects, for your project preparation. So basically, both instruments are focused mostly on the in-house expertise of the bank that we have with the project preparation, project identification, implementation, and this expertise is available for you. So both instruments focus mainly on the in-house expertise. Of course, those instruments are available to you thanks to the European Commission, which both initiatives are joined together with the European Commission and various directorates. What is also important is free of charge. It's free of charge for you thanks to the European Commission, thanks to the European Investment Bank. As mentioned, most of the support is provided by the in-house expertise. We think this is very important because we can collect expertise from different projects, different countries, and then share it with you. If necessary, we can also hire external consultants, so it's a kind of a full package that we can offer for you. We are over 100 experts located in 5 different offices in the EU. Very likely that we speak your language. We try to always involve the local let's say, person in our team working with you. What type of experts we are? We are economists, we are engineers, we are environmental specialists, we are state aid experts. So all this expertise is available for you. What else is that we are complementary to the other technical assistant instruments. If you come to us for asking, for example, for JASPER support or for Target support, I mean, we can also guide you to the other instruments that we have. Also, not only inside the bank, but as well as mentioned, outside the bank. And we can help guide you. And we work together with the other instruments as well. What also is important is the application procedure, because that's usually what keeps you from us or from anybody else, other instruments. So the application procedure is very, very simple. You basically there are no calls, no limited calls for support. So after the presentation, you can come to me and we can start already discussing your project. Yes, so I call you to do that. Next slide, please. So if we talk about specifically JASPERS, so basically, yes, we cover the whole project cycle, starting from identification, from the strategy, from the transition plans, coming up to the project funding. It's quite difficult to frame the support into different bars, but okay, I mean, each support is very individual and tailored to your needs. So the assignment is individual, it's tailored for your specific needs. But okay, we can focus on the providing methodologies for the project implementation, for the project preparation. We can provide individual recommendations for the implementation of individual projects. Yes, capacity building is another element which is extremely important that we pay a lot of attention to. The capacity building can be either specific events or dedicated support by basically on-the-job training while working with you, working together with us. We try to share the experience. And as mentioned, because we focus a lot on the in-house expertise, so we share the experience that we have from the other projects. Next slide, please. A couple of examples on the JASPER support, specifically for the JTF, for the Pillar 1 of the Just Transition Mechanism. You can see the examples there. You can read them. I mainly focus that the support can be divided, let's say, One part of the assistance can be dedicated for the managing authority. So then we talk about setup for the calls for projects or evaluating of the project applications or joint evaluation of the project applications. The other part of the support can be dedicated for the individual projects and preparation of the individual projects. You can see examples. We had projects on geothermal and district heating in Košice. We had again, you will see example in Velenje. We have carbon capture and storage. We pay a lot of attention to renewable energy communities, but it's not only energy-related projects. There are many more assignments. And as mentioned, capacity building. And then the last slide, maybe on the target, also a couple of examples. Under target, we focus more on the earlier project development, identification of the projects. So I framed it more of an upstream support for clean energy transition, where we enter before the project is being prepared, before there is a clear project. So we'll help do the analysis, identify the options, analyze those options, and define the project. The other part is then concrete support for preparation of the concrete projects. And we prepare very clear outputs like feasibility studies, pre-feasibility studies for the project, or provide advice and guidance. And capacity building, last but not least, is always an element there. And then in the next slide, you can see the contact details. I hope the slides will be available for you afterwards. If not, I stop here, and I would like to then give the floor to Carla. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharunas. My name is Carla Sitar. I'm coming from a city of Velenje, which is facing with a lot of challenges, and decarbonization of district heating system is one of them. We use Target and Jasper support just for this project. As you can see on the picture, this is a current situation in Velenje. In the back, you can see a thermal power plant, which is the only provider for the heat for the city. And we have quite a big system with more than 180 kilometers of pipelines. That's why we have also big losses. Our utility company with local and regional stakeholders prepared an action plan, how we'll transform the system from coal to green, with the goal that it will be carbon neutral, that will be reliable, and of course, very important, that will be also affordable for 40,000 people for the future. But before we start with the implementation, we decided that this plan should be checked by the experts, also from the EIB. That's why we apply for the target technical assistant to check if the recipe of the action plan is right, if the mix of the energy is right, the calculations are correct. So it was a good decision because the experts who are visiting also us on the ground make a lot of comments and suggestions and improvements of our action plan, and we conform 3 steps. So we decided the first step should be that we have to renovate all the pipelines and substations to reduce the losses. The second one is that we have to build new facilities for production of heat. And the third one is that we have to renovate all the buildings in the city which are connected to the system. So we thought, okay, the plan is set, so now we don't need you, EIB, anymore. But we were wrong, because when we start with the preparation for the documentation, project documentation and application form for GTF for phase 1, we decided actually our utility company and the ministry said that we should get an experts to help us through the process of submission for the first phase. So it was the right decision again. The same experts from EIB help us, still helping to prepare the documentation, the investment plan, and the result is that we will submit with the project documentation till the end of October this month. So hopefully the project will be successfully awarded and that we will proceed with the work. So, and also we opened the question regarding state aid and so on. So it was really useful for us to work with the experts. And next. And I must say that it's really good to have highly skilled experts on this way. So thank you, Sharunas, once again for all your support. And the biggest achievement is that we just signed this month a contract for Elena, which is also technical support, and we will invest 1.8 million euros to the project documentation, partly for the phase 2 and 3. So we will continue our work together, and I'm looking forward for the future cooperation. So, and I'm sure that with all the support of DJ Regio and DJ Ener, our beautiful city will be much more beautiful, greener, smart, innovative, so our kids will stay, work, and live in our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, thank you. And also really, really good to hear how that advice was taken at the beginning, but actually then was carried on throughout the project as well. Even when they thought that they had all the advice that they needed, actually they continued. So, delegates, we now move to our final mechanism. We're going to hear about the technical support instruments, TSI. Would you like to start?
Sure. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ariane de Dominicis. I work in the Commission in DG Reform, and I will present our instrument, the technical support instrument, TSI, together with one of the beneficiaries, so Jan Stano for Slovakia. So if I can get the first slide. Next slide, please. So the technical support instrument, it's an annual program of the EU that gives technical expertise, so it's technical support, technical assistance, whatever you call it, we don't give fund, tailor-made to EU member states for the design and implementation of reforms. We cover a very wide range of policy areas, as you can see on the screen, sustainability, but of course also labor markets, financial sector, migration, public financial management, etc., etc. It's very, very broad. And our budget for this financing period is 864 million euros. Next slide, please. So, some key features of the TSI. Firstly, we are demand-driven, so we work based on requests from member states. There is no co-financing needed, and also no administration in terms of contracting, etc. We take care of all of that. We cover any reform phase, and we work with public authorities at national, but also regional and local level. And we also have the possibility for what we call multi-country or multi-regional support, which is when several member states or regions come together with a common need, and we help them as a group. And this is actually really interesting because then the countries and regions can learn from each other. So we do that more and more. Now, the type of technical support activities that we propose, so you have a list on the slide, but it's not at all exhaustive. These are some typical things that we do, so we can help with recommendations, we help prepare strategies, we do a lot of capacity building, so that includes trainings, workshops, etc. We do awareness raising, stakeholder engagement. We do advisory support, which is more helping on the day-to-day work for some public administrations. We help with identification and promotion of good practices, and then we can create tools, handbooks, manuals, etc., etc. Next slide, please. So yeah, in a nutshell, so we now have 1,800 projects since 2017, so a lot of experience. And so for this year, we work with all EU member states and 307 reforms. Next slide, please. Now, on the Just Transition, since we started in 2018, so at the time it was the core regions in transition, and since then we have had 35 projects in 18 member states, and that includes helping 18 member states with the preparation of their Territorial Just Transition Plans. I've put on the screen some examples of support. Again, it's not at all exhaustive, but just you see the kind of thing that we do. So in Czechia, for example, we have helped with the preparation of a handbook on good practices, and you see on the screen the cover. We're very happy with this product. The support also has trained over 600 people, and we have prepared a new tool to screen investment projects in the context of the Pillar 2. We did other things as well, but this is just a few examples. In Greece, we have provided support for Pillar 3, so the public sector loan facility. We've also done a lot of capacity building. We've done a manual of procedure, again, amongst others. We will hear from Slovakia in a minute, but we help with the preparation of calls for projects, and we supported public project developers, and we did many other things. And then, final example, in Sweden, we provided advisory support for both municipalities and regions on regional planning linked with the Just Transition. Next slide, please. So how does it work in practice? We are an annual instrument, and every year we have a deadline to submit requests for technical support by the 31st of October. So for this year, this is coming very, very soon. Then we have a process of selection of the requests which we will support, because we are very popular and we don't have money, unfortunately, to support everything, by January. Then the technical support starts from June, typically. And we work with partners to provide expertise, so that can be international organizations, experts from member states, the private sector experts, but importantly, DG Reform is at your side for the whole duration of the project, both for designing the project, so the reform, the support measures, sorry, and but also in the implementation phase. We really are present. Next slide, please. So how to apply? As I mentioned, deadline 31st of October each year. Very importantly, you have to apply through your national coordinating authority for the TSI. If you don't know them, we have the list on our website. They will then channel your request to us. We have templates for application available on our website. And also I want to mention that prior to the deadline, so before 31st of October, and each year, I mean, we start these dialogues already, I don't know, in June. You can get in touch with us, DG Reform, to discuss draft requests or even ideas for support, and get our feedback to try and improve your request and improve the chances of getting funding. So don't hesitate. So now I will give the floor to Jan. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you for the privilege to be here today and to briefly introduce our experience over the years with TSI projects. Since 2018 until today, TSI projects have been an integral and important part of transition story in Slovakia. Throughout the years, this targeted technical assistance has helped us to facilitate the entire transition process in Slovakia, from its early initial phases through planning and programming up to implementation and monitoring. And in order to illustrate our example on why and how to use or utilize the wide range of possibilities under the TSI, I divided our 6 years long experience into 3 stages, which is vision, strategy, and implementation. So firstly, the vision. Slovakia began transition process in 2018 by political decision to end up coal mining and coal combustion by 2023. And this ambitious commitment was supported by Commission with technical assistance in order to prepare the vision and action plan, a long-term vision and action plan for the only coal region in Slovakia, which is the Upper Nitra region. And maybe even more importantly, the assistance was also focused on complex stakeholder engagement, like the partnership principle and building the communities, and also sharing the best practice abroad. Secondly, the strategy. Following the adoption of JTF regulation, we received another technical assistance in order to prepare Just Transition Plan. And the main benefit of this assistance was actually the analytical work behind the TJTP. So the contractor collected and analyzed a robust set of data, which allowed us, in the end, to prepare a specific, tailored, and place-oriented measures and activities within 3 JTF regions, 3 eligible regions, ensuring no one is left behind. And another very important topic within this part of or this stage was also the inclusive involvement of all relevant stakeholders within the process, also including the youth. And this bottom-up approach and participatory approach was praised by everyone. And lastly, the implementation. I try to be quick. After the adoption of TJTP, another TSI projects have been or were focused on launching the implementation. And this very hands-on and practical assistance was aimed on identification of the real absorption of the territories, and also they helped us to identify the areas of the calls and also draft or help in drafting or consulting the calls, including some specific aspects such as state aid. Complementary to this, the TSI helped the public sector beneficiaries, as it was mentioned in the previous presentation, with preparing projects, high-quality projects, to be ready to apply for funding. And as a positive outcome of this assistance was that the very first call within this programming period in Slovakia was actually the JTF call. And also, due to this targeted assistance, some of the calls or the allocation were already absorbed. And also, the part of the assistance was also raising awareness, trainings, workshops, but I can't go into the detail because we are out of time. Only maybe the last thing I would like to highlight, which was very beneficial for us under the TSI, is regular working meetings, not only with contractor, but also with the colleagues from Commission, which was, in our case, DG Reform, DG Regio, and DG Ample, which really enable us to discuss any open issues, discuss plans, ideas, and thus move things forward. So thanks, Commission, for providing us with this support continuously, and also namely to Ariane, who kindly and very professionally guided us through various projects. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks. Come and take a seat. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. So what we have done, you'll have noticed that the beneficiaries have taken their seats in the front row. We have everyone here now to answer questions, and I will take questions as well from the online audience. So if you are watching us online, then please put your questions into the Q&A function on Swapcard, and we will see how many we can get through. Plus, we've got microphones in the audience, so you can be as practical as you like. You can ask anything that you think is daft. That's fine, isn't it? Basic questions are absolutely fine. So if you want to go back to basics when it comes to help, that's absolutely fine as well. So, time for questions. Raise your hand in the audience if you have a specific question for any of our panel here. Where should we go first? Right, well, while everyone's thinking about it, let me ask you one. Tell me, when you get the applications, grab some microphones, by the way, when you get the applications, what's the one thing that you're really looking out for, and maybe the thing that sometimes you don't see? Some of the easy stuff that people actually could put on there that you don't get to see, that actually would really help. You're nodding, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I was nodding, okay. No, I think the important part is in every application is to actually write very clearly what is the project and what you expect to do. Because sometimes it's a lot of blah blah, and it's not clear what is actually the idea, what's the core essence Or for example, if we talk about applications for support, what type of the support, what exactly do you need? So I think this is the core thing, and probably the colleagues agree that's the first thing that we are looking at each and every application.
Ariane, yeah.
Thank you. So same here, but I would add, in the case of the TSI, we're reform-oriented, and the reforms, of course, are owned by the beneficiaries. So what we want to see is what is the next step you're going to take after the project is completed? What are you going to do with the results? Because we don't want, in our case, we provide expertise, so sometimes it's reports or recommendations. We don't want them to end up in a drawer. We want to see that you're actually going to use this to have an impact on the ground, which is how we can maximize the value of our support.
Can you give me an example? Because that's really fascinating. You don't want to see it just in a drawer. You need to see it in practice.
Yes. So a very simple example, actually an example that Jan gave, when we started the first project with Slovakia, and we helped prepare an action plan for the region of Upper Nitra. So we want to know that this action plan will actually be endorsed and adopted and then put in practice. That is not just like a nice idea that was, but something really concrete. Or if we design a tool, that this is actually going to be used. Or if we design recommendations, that this is going to be taken forward at the political level, for example, examined, and then, so these are some examples.
Thank you. Miriam, you're there with a microphone. What's the thing that you would love to see on those applications that you don't always get?
So, as my colleague from the DG Reform said, what we are trying to have is a support that is going to deliver during the present programming period, so that we are helping really to deliver on the ground, because this is what our support is about. But also to make sure that the support is going to be embedded in the learning curve of the authority who is implementing it, so that the authority is going to keep this additional knowledge in-house, and so that they can still implement it in the future. So these are two elements which are key for us. We are looking at elements which are directly related to the implementation of the European Green Deal, so to areas which are included under Policy Objective 2, because this is directly the aim of our support.
I think your first point, I mean, both points very interesting, but your first point I thought was fascinating. So you need to see in the application how the knowledge will be absorbed and then continued to be taught within the project for the future. Yeah. Go on.
And one element which is very important also is that sometimes we need to redesign the support. It means that sometimes we discuss with the potential beneficiaries, and then they need to discuss with us what is really needed. We need to understand what kind of support is already provided from other sources, and we are looking at complementarity, because we don't want to do what other colleagues are doing, so we need to be complementary and supporting each other's strengths of support. So this is also a key element we are doing. We work with our geographical units very much, because we are doing horizontal support, but what is very important is that we rely very much on colleagues who are in charge of every single member state in the EU, so they know very much what are their needs on the grounds, and this is what our support is about.
Thank you. Balbina, you want to come in there?
Thank you. I completely agree with Miriam that we look into the complementarities, and for JTP grant work we also try to be as open as possible in terms of the type of beneficiary. So for the JTP grant work, we support not only regional and local authorities with technical assistance, but also, for instance, universities research bodies, also some umbrella organizations, trade unions. So different types of beneficiaries can apply for support. This is for us also important that it's broad support on the ground. We look into complementarities, and we want that this support helps in the implementation of the Territorial Just Transition Plans. So basically every actor who has possibility to make any difference on the ground in the implementation of JTF, it is important for us, it's key, and that's why I encourage you to apply for the next edition of the groundwork at the beginning of the year.
Indeed, and I think actually all of our experts here have talked about the next edition when things are coming up in the future. Eva, I'll come to you in just one moment. Have we got any specific questions in the room? And do we have anything from our online audience? Okay, do feel free to put questions there. If we get a microphone to this lady down here towards the front, if you just raise your hand again for me so they can see. Lovely, thank you. But Eva first, if you wouldn't mind, you wanted to come in there.
Coming back to your first question, I think in co-region and transition initiative, the importance is always put on the needs of the regions. That means that we diversify the support depending on what the regions need. So, as I already mentioned, we supported in Midlands the project of which actually helped identify transition projects. There is another project which supported partnerships. So it always depends on what the region needs. At the same time, indeed, we look at two things. First of all, how future-oriented and innovative the project is. That means that it's not only about assessing the current status, but it's about where we are going with the help and why we are going there. And then we try to focus on things which are related to the future of those regions. So we are not trying to look back, but rather on what are the competitiveness opportunities, potentials, and because from our perspective of energy transition, we know that co-regions have unique opportunities compared to other regions. You often have big sites, you often have good networks, grids, connections, big areas which often are not subject to complex permitting processes. So these opportunities should be grabbed and used for the future development of those regions. And I hope that we will be, with the start of JTF, will be moving forward towards this competitive future.
Thank you. Actually, just if I can put a pause in that question for a moment, and I'll explain why in a moment, because I'm actually very conscious of time. What I want to do before I send us all off for one big conversation is just run along the line and just say one point for the audience and for our online audience about what you've got coming up. We're looking to the future, so very, very briefly, just remind everybody what's happening and when. Very briefly.
Okay, on the TSI, you've got until 31st of October to prepare and send your application. And after that, it's 31st of October, but next year.
Thank you, and always available for a chat as well.
So for Jaspers and Target, you can apply any time, so there are no limitations in time, at least for the next couple of years.
Thank you.
For co-region and transition, we're running only until next year. But indeed, there are open discussions on what will be the future of the initiative. There are no open calls at the moment, but there is a lot of knowledge gathered on the websites to which I referred. And for the upcoming events, there will be the annual political dialogue next year, to which you will be invited mostly tomorrow by our head of unit during the session focused on repurposing of coal phase-out sites. So we'll hear about it tomorrow.
For the C40 community of practice, we will have our next call on the first quarter of 2025. In the last slide of my presentation, you will have all information and all contacts. Please submit also your ideas and your needs, because we are very much needs-based. We have also working groups, and there I invite you. We don't have all member states, unfortunately, represented in our working groups, so I invite you also to apply for working groups on energy, environment, and climate. Thank you.
And for Just Transition platform, as I said, we have now ongoing call for Just Transition experts. We have ongoing call for JTPs, for exchanges between regions and regions and regions and experts. We will have a new call open at the beginning of the year for JTP grant work, this bigger technical assistance and advisory support on the ground for you. In spring, we will have another Just Transition Platform conference, the date to be confirmed. And we will also open the new working group, most probably in the coming months, that will discuss also different topic related to Just Transition. We have currently 2 working groups. So there are plenty of activities being done. Also, we develop still new knowledge products. So there will be new catalogs and toolkits related to Just Transition platform. And please monitor our websites to be informed about the calls and subscribe to our newsletter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So a lot of advice, a lot of help, and you've got the dates there as well. What I'm going to do, my apologies for not taking your question in the room, but I'm going to open a discussion corner. So would you all be happy to take questions one-to-one downstairs maybe? Wonderful. So what I will do is I will ask our experts to go to the discussion corner, which is just in that area, follow the arrows. If you have a specific question, please feel free to follow them down and talk to them one-on-one. All that information will be there. Please do. If you are watching us online, do feel free to put your question in swap card and we will try and get someone to get back to you that way as well. So we're going to take a break now. When we come back, we're going to talk about how to keep everything competitive, how to keep Europe competitive during the transition. So a really interesting topic when we're talking about projects and how they are being implemented, to look at competition as well. During the break, if I could ask you, we have some feedback, iPads or tablets. This session, as you know, was actually organized because you wanted it. So if you could give feedback on anything else that you want, that would be really great, because then we can sort of work out what is needed. So the feedback forms are on the tablets just as you make your way to coffee. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you back here shortly at 3:30. Have a break, go and have a chat in the discussion corner, and we'll be looking at competitiveness at 3:30. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.